Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shot Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Saturday, January 4th, 2025. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, the games I love the most in college hoops and other sports, you can find those at the premium picks tab of pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for Saturday in college basketball. 139 games. First up, we have Florida and Kentucky. This is the first game on the board at 11 a.m. Eastern. It could be the best game on the board in college basketball. Two top 10 teams going at it in the SEC, bitter rivals. This game is going to be on ESPN. And when you look at the Florida Gators, it's very tough to go against Florida right now as they're 13-0 straight up and one of the best against the spread teams in college basketball as well. Only one of Florida's 13 wins was by single digits, and even that game was still a cover against North Carolina. And while, like I said, Florida is tough to go against right now, we can't deny that this is the toughest matchup by far that Florida will play this season. That game against North Carolina was a semi-road game. This is only the second true road game of the season for the Gators. The first was against a Florida State team that, while it's a rivalry, that's just not a team that's on the same level as the Gators this year, in my opinion. Kentucky is, though, and that's why I like the Wildcats in this game. I like Florida to make the Final Four, and I have a futures on them to win the championship, but this is such a tough spot against a Kentucky team playing with revenge. They lost to Florida in overtime in Kentucky last year, and a Kentucky team that is just, fundamentally sound, good rebounding team on the defensive side, takes care of the basketball, forces a lot of tough shots. Their offense has gotten going recently. We look at that game against Brown. Yes, it's an Ivy League team, but it's one of the better teams in the Ivy League, and they put up 88 points in a blowout win. I think Kentucky has really bounced back from that Ohio State loss, and it picks up a big W in this one against a rival. Give me Kentucky in this one. Next up, it's BYU and Houston in the Big 12. This one is 2 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. I mentioned a few times this year, I think BYU is a team to watch out for in the Big 12. I think they're flying under the radar. They're not ranked right now in the AP polls. But BYU, they're on a 4-game win streak. They have not really been tested too much on the road this season. They had that one road game against Providence. So you could definitely argue that, that they're not really battle-tested. This is their toughest game by far of the season. But they're also getting a lot of points in this game. I think too many points. BYU, shot quality-wise, very strong. One of the best rebounding teams in the country. That is super important against Houston. Houston in the last decade has been one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. They're top 30 right now. Last year they were number 11. So you have to be able to rebound more so on the defensive side. I think BYU does a great job of that in this game. Houston, for me, is very good, but not as elite as we've seen in the last few seasons or so. They have struggled in their step-up games. They lost to Auburn by 5, lost to Bama in overtime, lost to San Diego State. Their most impressive win this year, the win over Butler, the blowout win over Butler, and I think BYU is a much better team than that Butler team. So I think this game's going to be competitive. I like BYU to keep it close. I think Houston could still find a way to win, but I wouldn't be shocked for the outright upset. Give me the points with BYU. Next up, it's South Carolina and Mississippi State. This one's going to be 2 p.m. Eastern on the SEC Network. We've got two teams with strong records this year and two teams on win streaks. South Carolina's won 7 in a row. The Bulldogs have won 6 in a row. For me, I've been more impressed with Mississippi State to start the year. They played the tougher schedule. They have more impressive wins. You look at some of their wins, Utah, SMU, UNLV, Pittsburgh, McNeese is a solid mid-major, and Memphis, the most impressive, the true road win by 13 points against a very good Memphis team. So for me, Mississippi State's playing with double revenge, playing at home here. They lost to South Carolina twice last year. Playing at home, South Carolina's not really been tested much on the road. They played 2 true road games. One was a blowout loss against Indiana. The other was a win against Boston College. I'm not really big on Boston College this year, and that's not really a tough place to play, at least right now. So I think this is going to be the toughest environment next to Indiana that South Carolina has seen this year. I think they're in trouble. Give me Mississippi State. I'm going to lay the points. Next up, it's San Diego State and Boise State in the Mountain West. This one's 4 p.m. Eastern on CBS. San Diego State, we know, has made some nice runs in the tournament the last couple of years. Made it to the national championship game 2 years ago. They're 8-3 this season. They have the big win over Houston at the neutral site. But I still think that this team is a tad overrated and nowhere near as strong a team as those recent teams that made those nice runs. San Diego State defensively is 15th in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency. However, shot quality-wise, this team is giving up a lot more high percentage looks to their opponents than we're used to seeing. And I think Boise State takes advantage of that in this game. Also, San Diego State is not great fundamentally. A team that's giving up offensive rebound about 32% of their opponents' missed shots. That's ranked 270th in the country. They're also not getting to the free throw line. They're a mediocre at best free throw shooting team. Boise State has the advantage. And Boise State should get a lot of second chance opportunities, many trips to the free throw line. And as long as they can be a decent team from three-point range in this game, like they were against Wyoming in that win and cover, Boise State shot 40% in that one. I think Boise State has no problem in this game. I'm going to go Boise State. I think they win and cover the number. Next up, we have Ohio and Central Michigan. This one's 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. This is the MAC opener for both of these teams, and both teams are 6-6 straight up. I think a lot of people expected going into the year that these teams would be polar opposites, as you get Ohio, which is a potent offensive team and program, score a lot of points, hit a lot of threes, but maybe one of the weaker defenses in the conference. And for the most part, that's been true this season. On the other side, Central Michigan, one of the better defenses in the conference, but not the best offensive team, turning the ball over a lot, not a great shooting team. And again, for the most part, that is true with the Chippewas. But for me, I do think the difference is I think Ohio's defense is underrated, and it struggled mightily at the beginning of the year. It's still ranked dead last in three-point defense overall, giving up 43.5% to their opponents. But that's about 4 to 5 percentage points better than where it was at the very beginning of the year. Goes to show you how much they really were struggling. But for me, I think Ohio's defense is underrated because, A, they are forcing some tough shots. They're not just giving up wide open looks to their opponents. Their opponents have been able to make some low percentage looks. But also, Ohio forces a lot of turnovers. That could be an issue for Central Michigan. They turn the ball over about 22% of their possessions. I look for Jackson Pavletsky to have a lot of forced turnovers, a lot of assists, a lot of fast break points. I like Ohio to win this game. I'm going to take them on the road. Give me the Bobcats. And that's it. Those are the games for Saturday in college basketball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe and put those college basketball picks in the comment section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Romanelli. Good luck.